सारे बच्चे मतलब खुश हैं इस चीज़ से कि गवर्नमेंट ने हमको ये चीज़ दी है।
हम इतने खुश हैं कि हमने पहली बार लाइट देखी है।
हमारे लिए खुशकिस्मती है कि इस साल हमें नए कॉलेज मिले।
Over the past year, the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has witnessed a development-oriented and people-centric governance system. Over 100 progressive central laws and 9 constitutional amendments were made applicable to Jammu and Kashmir, extending certain basic rights for the benefits of the people. Residents of Jammu and Kashmir are now benefiting from reservation in all government jobs.
जम्मू कश्मीर में पहली बार वहां के गरीब सामान्य वर्ग को आरक्षण का लाभ मिला। पहली बार जम्मू कश्मीर में महिलाओं को ये अधिकार मिला कि वे अगर राज्य के बाहर विवाह करती हैं तो उनकी संपत्ति छीनी नहीं जाएगी।
For the first time in the history of J&K, elections to the position of chairpersons of block development councils were held in October 2019, which saw an impressive turnout.
जो गवर्नमेंट ने बीडीसी इलेक्शन कराने का ये पहली दफा हमारे जम्मू कश्मीर में हो रहा है। इससे पहले बीडीसी इलेक्शन कभी नहीं हुआ है।
औरतों को बहुत जरूरी है, उनको मिलना चाहिए, बहुत जरूरी है। हर घर का मुझे पता किसको क्या है। ये अच्छा कदम है कि करेंगे काम हम।
We, the subscribers up to this declaration,
with the motto of the commoners, by the commoners and for the commoners. In March 2020, Syed Altaf Bukhari, former finance minister of J&K, launched a new political party under the name of Jammu and Kashmir Apni Party. Bringing development to the people has been the motto. Several languishing projects across different sectors have been accelerated. With the deadline of December 2021 for the construction of a crucial railway bridge for Katra-Benihal railway stretch, Kashmir has moved closer to the Indian Railways network. To ease mobility in rapidly growing metropolitan areas, an elevated light rail system in both capital cities of Jammu and Srinagar has been approved. 36 union ministers visited J&K in January 2020, during which over 200 projects were inaugurated. Rural electrification projects have connected tens of thousands of households for the first time to the electricity grid.
हमारे गांव में पहली बार लाइट आई है। हम इतने खुश हैं, जहां के लोग काफी ज्यादा खुश हैं कि हमने पहली बार लाइट देखी है।
Government schools in the Srinagar district have been transformed and are equipped with modern facilities.
पहले ये सब कुछ नहीं था हमारे स्कूल में। सारे बच्चे मतलब खुश हैं इस चीज़ से कि गवर्नमेंट ने हमको ये चीज़ दी है।
Today, dreams of the youth have been brought to their doorsteps. To boost employment and encourage entrepreneurship among the technically qualified youth, J&K government is coming up with 2 IT parks, one each in Jammu and Srinagar. a government medical college has been inaugurated in Kathua and another medical college is announced in Handwara. Two new All India Institute for Medical Sciences are also coming up, catering to super speciality healthcare in J&K.
जैसे कि इसकी बात है नए मेडिकल कॉलेज की, गवर्नमेंट मेडिकल कॉलेज अनंतनाग जो इसी साल सेटअप हुआ है साउथ कश्मीर में अनंतनाग में, ये एक बहुत ही बड़ा फ़ायदा है हमारे लिए, बहुत ही ज़्यादा हम बयान नहीं कर सकते कितना बड़ा फ़ायदा है।
आज यहाँ आके हमारे कॉलेज का इनॉग्रेशन था, बहुत अच्छा लगा। हमारे लिए खुशकिस्मती है कि इस साल हमें नए कॉलेज मिले।
Highlighting the untapped potential of J&K, the government organized a pre-summit meeting of the J&K Invest Summit in New Delhi to attract investments from across the world. These events showcased policy and regulatory environment, investment opportunities in focus sectors to boost manufacturing and employment generation in the UT. Also, investment roadshows were held across 6 metropolitan cities in India. Did you know that Kashmir is famous for its apple cultivation? Kashmiri apple is a major export from the region. Under a new scheme, apples are now being directly procured from farmers.
मुझे लगता है कि ये अच्छी स्कीम है, इससे हमें किसान और ग्रोवर को यहाँ पे अच्छा फायदा मिलेगा।
Kashmiri saffron has now been given a geographical indication, GI tag. Under an action plan, Kashmiri saffron cultivation, storage and processing is being promoted. Creating opportunities to shine at the national and international stage, sport activity is being actively promoted among the youth through quality infrastructure such as sports stadiums at various locations in J&K. In March 2020, Khelo India Winter Games were held in Kashmir, where hundreds of participants from across the country took part in various sporting events such as skiing, snowboarding, snowshoeing, snow baseball, etc.
तो आज जो यहाँ पे खेलो इंडिया हो रहा है, एक बड़ा इवेंट है, एक अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म मिल रहा है स्टेट्स को, एक जो भी यहाँ पे एथलीट्स हैं उनको अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म मिल रहा है खेलो इंडिया में।
In January 2020, almost 10,000 people watched the I-League football match between Real Kashmir Football Club and Mohan Bagan in Srinagar's TRC turf ground.
Good morning, distinguished friends, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to all of you and thank you for joining us today in our program, which is part of our year-long series of events to mark our Constitution Day and to continue our campaign on citizens' duties. Today we have a very distinguished speaker who will be giving a presentation on one of our fundamental duties, which is to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of the nation. Our speaker for today's event, Mr. Jacob Mathew, is presently serving as the President of Indian Association in Azerbaijan. He came to Azerbaijan some years ago as a professional working for a multinational company. He went on to become a successful businessman. Beyond his professional life, Mr. Jacob has always contributed to the welfare of the Indian community in Azerbaijan and for promoting better understanding of India among the larger public in Azerbaijan. Friends, today's topic, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of the nation, assumes particular significance as we have just celebrated our Independence Day last weekend, where we are reminded of the great sacrifices of our freedom fighters and those who came before us. We are also all aware of what happened on our borders in recent times and the great sacrifices made by our brave soldiers. It is therefore important for each and every one of us not to take this freedom for granted and be conscious of our duty to uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Mother India. Friends, India's unity in diversity is an example for the world. However, we need to continue working on it and never allow this beautiful aspect of our society to be compromised. Once again, thank you for joining us. Have a great day. Jai Hind. Namaste.
वंदे मातरम 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 वंदे थोड़ा तो जगाए अपने दिलों में हम क्या नाम है अपना जहां में खड़े हैं
Namaskar. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege for me to be here as part of the year-long Constitution Day celebrations. I would like to thank Sri Bevatlung Wanlalwana and all the embassy members for giving me this opportunity. From 11 topics related to responsibilities and duties of citizens of India under Article 51A, I have chosen the following to talk about: to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. In the previous months, there were 7 eminent speakers before me who had thoroughly explained and elaborated upon some of the other topics related to duties of citizens. My appreciation and vote of thanks to them for their contributions as well. A citizen is one of the dominant pillars of the country. Keep this idea in mind when considering national sovereignty, unity and integrity. Before we get to the national scale, we begin with the individual, the citizen. Let me quote Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Every citizen of India must remember that he is an Indian and he has every right in this country, but with certain duties. A citizen of a country is an individual recognized under the custom or law as being a legal member of a sovereign nation or having allegiance to a government in exchange for its protection, whether at home or abroad. Therefore, each citizen has a duty to make his or her community a decent place to inhabit. When you are a responsible citizen, it implies that you know your duty adequately and will volunteer for numerous things required by the community or society in general. India is a democratic country where its denizens live freely. A democratic system is entirely founded on the freedom of its citizens to celebrate their rights and uphold their responsibilities. Rights and responsibilities are two sides of a coin that goes hand in hand with us in whatever home, society, state or country we live in. Fundamental rights bestowed to the Indian citizens are an essential part of the Constitution. The rights are not violable in general circumstances, but neither are they absolute. They are subject to reasonable restrictions when necessary for the protection of public interest. Just as the citizen faces a balance in how rights are upheld, so too we find these rights act as a protective measure for the maintenance of the structure of the government. The observation, upkeep, and protection of citizens' rights are critical to prevent the government's decay into oppressive dictatorship. Thereby, we see that the maintenance of citizens' rights promotes the unity and integrity of the nation. In the event that unfair action is taken against a people group, or worse yet, an instantiation of systemic injustice, our democracy via the court systems can strive to protect and safeguard these oppressed groups. Sovereignty of any nation can be judged by the degree to which the least, that is the most marginalized, are given opportunity and access to empowerment. Our nation, Mother India, defends herself for the furtherance of our many cultures by the love and devotion for her children, that is to say, we, the citizens, have to show unto her. My sincere thanks to all my community members who supported with voice messages in their languages that covers Kashmir to Kerala, including northeastern states. This is also a symbol of the unity and integrity of Indian citizens who hold on to the values, rights, and responsibilities of being responsible citizens even when outside the country.
एक देश तभी फल फूल सकता है जब उसके नागरिक उसे एक मजबूत और सशक्त देश बनाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध हों। हम सभी अपने देश की सुरक्षा और विकास के लिए जिम्मेदार हैं। यह हमारा कर्तव्य है कि हम अपने देश भारत की संप्रभुता, एकता और अखंडता को बनाए रखें।
A country can flourish when the citizens become responsible enough to build a strong and powerful nation. We are all responsible for the protection and development of our country. It is our duty to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of our nation, India.
രാജ്യത്തിന്റെ ഓരോ പൗരന്റെയും ഉത്തരവാദിത്തമാണ് ശക്തവും കരുത്തുറ്റതുമായ ഒരു രാഷ്ട്രം കെട്ടിപ്പടുക്കുന്നതിനും തന്റെ രാജ്യത്തിന് തഴച്ചു വളരുന്നതിനും വേണ്ടി നിലകൊള്ളുക എന്നത്. നമ്മുടെ രാജ്യത്തിന്റെ സംരക്ഷണത്തിനും വികസനത്തിനും നമ്മൾക്കെല്ലാം ഉത്തരവാദിത്തമുണ്ട്. നമ്മുടെ രാഷ്ട്രമായ ഇന്ത്യയുടെ പരമാധികാരം, ഐക്യം, സമഗ്രത എന്നിവ ഉയർത്തിപ്പിടിക്കുകയും സംരക്ഷിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് നമ്മുടെ કડமைയാണ്.
એક દેશ ત્યારે સમૃદ્ધ થઈ શકે છે જ્યારે તેના નાગરિકો મજબૂત અને શક્તિશાળી રાષ્ટ્ર બનાવવા માટે પૂરતા જવાબદાર હોય. આપણે બધા આપણા દેશના રક્ષણ અને વિકાસ માટે જવાબદાર છીએ. આપણા રાષ્ટ્ર ભારતની સાર્વભૌમત્વ, એકતા અને અખંડતાનું સમર્થન અને રક્ષણ કરવું એ આપણું કર્તવ્ય છે.
একটি দেশ তখনই উন্নত হতে পারে যখন তার নাগরিকরা একটি শক্তিশালী দেশ গঠনে যথেষ্ট দায়বদ্ধ থাকে। আমরা আমাদের দেশের সুরক্ষা এবং উন্নয়নের জন্য দায়বদ্ধ। ভারতবর্ষের সার্বভৌমত্ব, ঐক্য ও সংহতিকে ধরে রাখা এবং রক্ষা করা আমাদের বিশেষ কর্তব্য।
जेव्हा देशाचे नागरिक आपले राष्ट्र बलवान आणि सामर्थ्यवान निर्माण करण्यास पुरेसे जबाबदार असतात तेव्हाच त्या देशाची भरभराट होऊ शकते. आपल्या देशाच्या संरक्षण आणि विकासासाठी आपण सर्व जबाबदार आहोत. आपल्या देशाचे सार्वभौमत्व, ऐक्य आणि अखंडतेचे समर्थन करणे आणि त्यांचे संरक्षण करणे आपले कर्तव्य आहे.
ஒரு நாடு சுபிக்ஷமாக ஆக வேண்டுமென்றால் அதனுடைய குடிமக்கள் அதை சக்தி வாய்ந்த ஒரு நாடாக மாற்ற பாடுபட வேண்டும். நமது நாட்டின் ஒற்றுமையையும் இறையாண்மையும் நேர்மையும் காப்பாற்ற வேண்டியது ஒவ்வொரு குடிமகனின் கடமையாகும். குடிமக்கள் அனைவருமே ஒரு நாட்டினுடைய முன்னேற்றத்திற்காகவும் அதனுடைய பாதுகாப்புக்கும் பொறுப்பானவர்களாக ஆகிறோம்.
le tui mani mo phurna sia in ram antima sona ram chakle thil ti thei an siam thin keini zong zong poin kan ram hum him le ti changkang turin mo kan phur ani India ram thil ti thei zo ka hlangkai turin in pum khatna vong turin le in zom khom na tha nei turin thei top kan chua kan ven him angai ani
kari kan kiu shaprang haba ki nong song snong ki shim ka jingkit kli ka ba biang ban te ya kari ka ba klain bat ka ba don bor ngi dai mangi ki ban shim jingkit kli ban yada bat ban pan kiu shaprang ya kari ka jongi ka dai ka kamram jongi ban bat skem bat ban yada ya ka bor bat ka buram ka jingalong kawe jinglong kawe jong kari India jongi
jen salo a sungni sungdong parang kham gpa aro blak gpa song ko rukna chunga gta gisuk nanga unon a song suroro namro rogen anchungni a song ko wara chakna aro thang doani ko namda patna anchung gmukni daito nga anchungni a song India ni bilgnangani khumong nangrmani aro khakhet ongani ko rakina aro chilchaki simsakna anchungni dakna nangni kham onga
मुल्क छ तेली फलान येले अमिक लोक आसन तीता जिम्मेदार कि तम बनावन पन्निस वतनस ठोस बेताकतवर सानि मुल्क फलाह बहबूदी बे मुल्क रचरावन छ सारनि हंज जिम्मेदारी ये छ अख सन काम कि अस करो अथरोट पन्निस वतनस बे रचरावन अमिच आज़ादी अमिच यकजहती ते बे अमिच मिलचार
Country can flourish when its citizens are responsible enough to build a strong and powerful nation. We are all responsible for the protection and development of our country. It is our duty to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of our nation, India.
कोनो देश तखने फल फूल सकैत अछि जखन ओतक वासी एकटा मजबूत और शक्तिशाली राष्ट्र बनेबाक लेल बुझनुक होइत हम सब अपन देशक सुरक्षा और आगाँ बढ़ेबाक लेल जिम्मेदार होइत ई हम सबक कर्तव्य अछि जे अपन देशक संप्रभुता एकता और अखंडता बना कर राखी
ভাৰতবৰ্ষৰ ঐক্য সংহতি ৰক্ষা কৰাটো আমাৰ বিশেষ কৰ্তব্য এখন দেশ তেতিয়াহে উন্নতি কৰিব পাৰিব যেতিয়া সেইখন দেশৰ নাগৰিক দায়িত্বশীল আৰু সজাগ হ'ব আমিও আমাৰ দেশৰ উন্নতিৰ কাৰণে দায়ীশীল হয়
രാജ്യത്തിന്റെ ഓരോ പൗരന്റെയും ഉത്തരവാദിത്തമാണ് ശക്തവും കരുത്തുറ്റവുമായ ഒരു രാഷ്ട്രം കെട്ടിപ്പടുക്കുന്നതിനും തന്റെ രാജ്യത്തിന് തഴച്ചു വളരുന്നതിനും വേണ്ടി നിലകൊള്ളുക എന്നത് നമ്മുടെ രാജ്യത്തിന്റെ സംരക്ഷണത്തിനും വികസനത്തിനും നമ്മൾക്കെല്ലാം ഉത്തരവാദിത്തമാണ് നമ്മുടെ രാഷ്ട്രമായ ഇന്ത്യയുടെ പരമാധികാരം ഐക്യം സമഗ്രത എന്നിവ ഉയർത്തിപ്പിടിക്കുകയും സംരക്ഷിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് നമ്മുടെ കടമയാണ്
कोई मुल्क तां ही तरक्की कर सकता है ਜਦੋਂ ਉਸਦੇ ਨਾਗਰਿਕ ਇੰਨੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਦਾਰ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਮੁਲਕ ਨੂੰ ਮਜ਼ਬੂਤ ਅਤੇ ਤਾਕਤਵਰ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੀ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਆ ਅਤੇ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਸਾਡੇ సబ్ లోగాం ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਹੈ జై హింద్
ఒక దేశ వికాసానికి దాన్ని బలప్రదమైన శక్తివంతమైన దేశంగా మలచడానికి ఆ దేశ ప్రజలే బాధ్యులు మన దేశ భద్రత మరియు అభివృద్ధి మన బాధ్యత భారతదేశ భద్రత సార్వభౌమాధికారం ఐకమత్యం మరియు సమగ్రతను కాపాడుకోవడం మన కర్తవ్యం
ಒಂದು ದೇಶ ಉನ್ನತವಾಗುವ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಅದರ ನಾಗರಿಕರು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನು ಬಲಪಡಿಸಿದಾಗ ಮತ್ತು ಶಕ್ತಿಯುತಗೊಳಿಸಿದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ರಕ್ಷಣೆಗಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಏಳಿಗೆಗಾಗಿ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರರಾಗಬೇಕು
କୌଣସି ଦେଶ ବିକାଶ ହୋଇପାରିବ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଏହାର ନାଗରିକମାନେ ଏକ ମଜବୁତ ଏବଂ ଶକ୍ତିଶାଳୀ ରାଷ୍ଟ୍ର ଗଠନ ପାଇଁ ଯଥେଷ୍ଟ ପ୍ରୟାସ କରିବେ ଆମ ଦେଶର ସୁରକ୍ଷା ଏବଂ ବିକାଶ ପାଇଁ ଆମେ ସମସ୍ତେ ପ୍ରତିବଦ୍ଧ ଆମ ଦେଶ ଭାରତର ସାର୍ବଭୌମତା ଏକତା ଏବଂ ଅଖଣ୍ଡତାକୁ ବଞ୍ଚାଇ ରଖିବା ଆମର ପରମ କର୍ତ୍ତବ୍ୟ ଜୟ
कहिड़ो मुल्क तॾहिं अॻियां वधी थो सघे जॾहिं उन में रहण वारा माण्हू एतिरा ज़िम्मेदार हुजनि कि हिकु ताक़तवर मुल्क ठाहे सघनि। पंहिंजे मुल्क जी सुरक्षा ऐं तरक़ी पाण सभिनीनि जी ज़िम्मेदारी आहे। जय झूलेलाल।
એક દેશ ત્યારે સમૃદ્ધ બને છે જ્યારે તેના નાગરિકો એક સશક્ત અને શક્તિશાળી રાષ્ટ્ર બનાવવા માટે પૂરતા જવાબદાર હોય। આપણે બધા આપણા દેશના રક્ષણ અને વિકાસ માટે જવાબદાર છીએ। આપણા રાષ્ટ્ર ભારતની સાર્વભૌમત્વ, એકતા અને અખંડિતતાનું સમર્થન કરવું અને તેનું રક્ષણ કરવું એ આપણું કર્તવ્ય છે।
A country can flourish when its citizens are responsible enough to build a strong and powerful nation. We are all responsible for the protection and development of our country. It is our duty to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of our nation, India.
The fundamental duties are defined as the moral obligations of all citizens to help promote a spirit of patriotism and to uphold the unity of India. Indian Constitution provides 6 fundamental rights to their citizens, which are right to equality, right to religion, right against exploitation, right to culture and education, right to freedom, right to constitutional remedies. To completely enjoy the rights, citizens must perform their responsibilities towards the country to the best of their abilities. Indeed, the rights and responsibilities of an individual are interrelated to each other, and thus the individual makes an impact upon his neighbor, both his fellow citizen and those guests residing in his nation. Now we see how each citizen has a role to play in the advancement of the prosperity of the nation, especially when the nation is looked upon by the foreign eyes. Recall that this flourishing stems from the rights and responsibilities preserved in the Indian Constitution and citizens' capacity to know, respect, and pursue them. The Constitution delineates every responsibility and duty that all Indians are expected to abide by. As citizens of the country, we are morally and legally required to perform these duties. What is unique about these duties is that they come about through the responsible choice of every citizen. They cannot be enforced legally upon the citizens, even by the courts. What it means? As a good and responsible citizen of the country, first, one must be aware of the fundamental rights and duties. Comprehending all the rules and regulations proposed by the government may boost every citizen in achieving their responsibilities towards the country. Responsible citizens build their community into a positive habitat, amenable to cooperation and uplifting of one another. We, as citizens, are all accountable for the good or bad conditions of the nation. We need to shift our attention into the action to procure positive impacts on our community and country. An individual action performed by a person can change a life, but collaborative actions have a positive impact on the entire nation. I imagine you have heard of the idea of the movement. Well, when citizens choose to work together, they have the capacity for great power. Indeed, this is the life force of the nation's sovereignty. Therefore, the duties of citizens count as contributions to a flourishing society across all ranks of religion, class, or creed. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel once said, "Manpower without unity is not a strength unless it is harmonized and united properly when it becomes a spiritual power." A lawyer was arguing his case in the court when he received a note that his ailing wife had passed away. The lawyer read it, folded the note, and carried on with the trial. The verdict was passed in favor of his client, a success. However, The lawyer was still grieved by the contents of the note, and once all proceedings came to an end, he informed his fellow members of the court of the sad news. Do you know who this great lawyer was? It was none other than the Iron Man of India, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was known for sacrificing his own happiness for the sake of others. Here is another story, this time from his early days in striving to become the notable barrister we all now know him to be. He decided to study law in London, so he saved up enough and applied for the required documents. However, as fate would have it, the documents were mistakenly delivered to his elder brother, who happened to have the same initials. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel insisted his elder brother should be the one to go to London. He knew of his brother's aspirations and he chose to bless his brother with the opportunity. He believed this was not his time, but his own opportunity would come later. Indeed, his time did come, and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel went on to accomplish his own goal of becoming an attorney in his life. This I selected to share how Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel showcased his integrity to his family. An example to start small. From these character traits, one can go on to render great service to our nation. Indeed, to unity and maintain the integrity of great Mother India. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel mentioned in his famous words, "It is the prime responsibility of every citizen to feel that his country is free and defend its freedom is his duty." We, the citizens of India, are obliged to promote, foster and sustain togetherness, and each one of us should be ambassadors of unity in diversity. Once we recognize our leaders fought, especially in a non-violent way, to obtain freedom, our gratitude to our country will only continue increasing. Indians are different in many ways, speaking different languages, enjoying different cuisines, practicing different religions, coming from different cultures, and many more. But still, we are all united as Indians under the tricolor flag. Our sovereign nation, India, is so powerful and accommodating all with equal and same right, no matter which caste, creed, rich or poor. But being an Indian citizen, we all are equal and our constitution is made in such a way to protect us. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we should not forget our responsibility as citizens of India to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of our nation. Jai Hind.